Hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So this morning I got up and it's going to be rainy and cloudy, which is just a blessing for our area. But I was going to smoke a couple more hams and do some canning, and I'm still going to do some canning this afternoon, but I'm not going to smoke the hams. But what I have here, because now I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy and want to settle down with a hot meal for tonight. So what I have is I'm going to take the smoked ham bone. This was a smoked ham that I smoked for Easter, so it was a double smoked ham. And I'm telling you, it's my favorite. It is so good. So I'm going to play with doing some glazes on the smoker as well. Anyway, I'm going to make a pot of beans. So I soaked these beans overnight, and these are just white beans, small white beans. I soaked them overnight, and now I've got clean water in there. I've rinsed them to get all the excess starch and any dirt that might have been on them off. And so I've got, this is off of my celery that I restarted from the root of a celery plant. And I'll show you when I have going here in some water. See how they sprout out of the top? And what happens, the ones that are in the dirt, these outside ribs, they get all icky and brown and all that, but they actually, instead of pulling them away, they will shrink away, and all you're left with is this, and it's just beautiful. I mean, I've got them going over in the little greenhouse I've got over here. They're the top big ones in the back on the top shelf. Anyway, so I thought, well, you know what? I don't have any celery that's really fresh in the refrigerator, so I'm going to use those celery tops. And I'm going to also use some dehydrated celery. I've got some dehydrated jalapeno, and I've got an onion and some carrot. Okay, I also am going to use my chicken base. I have some ham base, but you know, if you open it, you have to refrigerate it afterwards, and I just am thinking to myself, how many times am I going to use that? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some chicken base down in this water. Not too much. You just want a nice little light flavoring. I also have some garlic. And let's see. And these beans are just going to simmer all day. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting ready to get in the shower. I get to go to work a little later this morning because it's my salon day. And you know what? I'm going to leave it just like that. I want most of the flavor to come from the ham and the bone. You wouldn't even have to do the chicken stock if you didn't want to. That's totally up to you. That's your call. You are in charge of your ham and bean soup. I'm only going to put probably three of these little rounds in here of the jalapenos. And the reason I'm doing that, it adds a little background heat, but it doesn't get too hot, because trust me, these are extremely hot. All the essential oils have gotten happy in there, and they're really hot. It's just, oh. I made the mistake one time of popping one in my mouth. Not a good move for anybody. You know, when you get in the habit of doing fruit and stuff like that and other vegetables on the dehydrator, and then when this comes off the dehydrator, you just go ahead and pop a ring in your mouth. I want to cry. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and chop this garlic. And you can roughly chop it. It's all going to melt down. You don't need to worry of how fine it is. Nobody's going to have any raw garlic. I love garlic. And really and truly, you almost don't even taste it. Garlic kind of melds itself in, unless it's the only spice or herb or whatever you want to call it. You're really not going to overpower anything with it. Or I don't think so. Maybe maybe that's just me. I don't know. So we'll put that up on the knife and get that down in that pot. And I'm going to rinse the sticky off my hand now because that makes me crazy. And I've left quite a bit of ham on this ham bone, as you can see. This oh gosh, it was so good. We've had sandwiches, and it just was delicious, and it was so nice to have a really quiet Easter dinner that wasn't full of sugar and all that. It doesn't really have a whole lot of fat, but there's a little bit of fat, so I'm going to set that down in the pot as well, and get a rinse on my hands again. Beans are one of those things that are just so easy to make, and I think we forget about doing them. My husband came out this morning and he goes, well, I didn't need any more of that ham. Are you going to make some beans? And I said, yes, I am. I already got the beans started. So I'm going to do a handful of my dehydrated celery, okay? Maybe a quarter of a cup. And remember, that's going to rehydrate to twice what it is. And I can smell it. It's very fragrant. What happens is this kind of stays on the chewy side. I'm going to try blanching them first and see if that works better, because I just have been just chopping them up and dehydrating them. But I don't mind having a different texture once in a while, but I do want all the flavor. So I'm going to take these beautiful celery leaves, and these are going down in for additional flavor. Normally I'd probably put some parsley in there, but I thought, ooh, this will be a nice addition. I love celery. It's one of my favorite flavors. Okay, we got that. That's simple enough. Okay, we're working on maybe 5 minutes here on prep time. Ooh. Okay, now this onion and yum. Oh, you know what? I need a bay leaf. I'll get that out. And I'm just going to rough chop the onion as well. Come on. Doesn't want to give. Peel all that. Come on. It doesn't want to peel. Sorry, guys. Okay, now, and actually, I think one more peel down. I'd rather have a really tender onion than have a tough outer shell, so I'm not going to take any chances on that. Ooh, this is a strong one. Man. I'm not worried about what size, because like I said, this is all going to cook down. So I'm going to get that out of the way. Ooh, baby. Strong. Okay. And we'll pop that in there before I start crying. Okay. Onion down. Oh. Mackerel, Haney. I might have to pause for crying. Oh, that's really a strong onion. Let me rinse my board off so it doesn't set off any more fumes, and throw this away for the compost pile. I think I will. Okay. On the carrot, I'm going to peel this carrot down, but I'm also, because I'm peeling the carrot, I'm also going to leave it kind of in just a couple of large pieces, because I'm going to fish these out a little bit later. Because the beans cook so long, I really want the vegetables to lend all their flavor, but not necessarily stay in there. And what I'll do is, when I get home from work, I'll dice up another couple of fresh organic carrots. These carrots are beautiful. and I'll put them in and let them just cook till they're tender. But by the time, you know, this kind of gets to that point, the carrots will not be very nutritious as far as just leaving them in to eat. So I've got these big hunks that'll be easy to come out of there later when they've given all they got, and I'll give the cooked stuff to the chickens or the dogs or somebody. Somebody will benefit from it. All right, I'm gonna grab over here a bay leaf. If I can get this bag, there we go. I want a nice size bay leaf, maybe 2. I love bacon. Oh, that smells so good. Reminds me of a cup of tea. Yummy. All right, and that, my friends, is as easy as it gets. Here's my pot of ham and bean soup that's going on. And I'm gonna make cornbread in a separate video for this, but I'm gonna do it Arrowhead 73 style. So, ooh, I'll bring you back when we got something else going on. Maybe I'll put a little pepper in there. I think it needs a little pepper to go along, just a little bit. I got some fresh cracked black. All right, guys, I'll see you in a little bit. Hi guys, I'm back, and let's see, it's 4:30. My beans have been cooking all day, and that's the ham I've got. It's on the bone there. I'm gonna chop up some celery. I did chop up in the Vidalia chopper. I've got 2 cups of diced carrots there. And so I did find celery in the fridge after I bought a big nice thing of organic celery. This is organic celery, it's the ones that come from Costco. So I'm just gonna give that a nice little slice. I like to see it in pieces. Even though we've got that dehydrated celery in there, really wanna see some fresh. And it'll cook so, oh, it's so fragrant. It'll cook pretty fast. So I think what I'll do is I'll just scoop it all in here into the chopper. So that'll give me about 4 cups, or at least a good 3 of vegetables to go back into the stew. So I'll put that over by the beans. I don't know why I called it stew. I think the camera makes me forget what I'm doing. I don't know. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, wipe my board off here, and okay, I'm gonna get a little closer. I fished out the carrots because they've given up all I want. They've given up their sweetness that I want in this pot of beans, and so now those are gonna go in the bowl for the chickens or the rabbit, whoever. Somebody will eat them. The chickens will eat it. The beans are nice and tender. They really are wonderful. I have not tasted the broth, but I have, you know, I've tasted the beans are really soft. Yum. Okay. So you can see it's just coming right off the bone. Here's a bone. That's so nice. And you get all the flavor and benefit of that bone, and it's given everything it's got. You've gotten the marrow out of there. Just a really nice way to use up your ham. So, and I left quite a bit of meat, like I said, on this piece, just because there's been times where I thought there was more meat on it than there really was, and we didn't get any meat in our beans, and I love some ham in my beans. So, and you kind of pay attention to what's gristle and what's actually going to be delicious at this point. You want to make sure you get any gristly parts. They've all broke down and they're soft, but I don't necessarily want to eat that. And then you'll have a pocket. Usually there'll be a pocket of some fat. And so I get that out of there. And it's still really warm, but, and then at that point, it's just a matter of, here's another piece of gristle. matter of breaking it up how you want it. Now, like I've said before, I do not give my dogs scraps from pork or any kind of pork, really. They don't digest it well. And so, especially the older one, I mean, I don't know, Sage probably gets into stuff I don't know about and eats it, but I just don't need a vet bill because I fed him the wrong thing. And I know people who feed them ham and feed them everything, but if you look on the market, you really research good dog foods, I've never seen one that was like pork and rice or pork and beans. They just don't normally give them that. So that being said, those of you that do give your dogs pork, they're lucky dogs. There you go. Okay. Here we go. So we've got a really nice, healthy amount of meat here. Okay, here's another piece of that fat. And really, even though it's messy, you kind of have to get in there with your best clean tools, and that would be your hands. Because that's the only way you're going to feel that soft, fatty stuff that you don't want in there. Otherwise, you just mince right over it. So now this is ready to go down in, and it's just all broke up and delicious looking. Okay, so and here's a piece of gristle, and just make sure as you go through it with your fingers that you've got all the gristle out of there. There's no bone fragments, anything like that that's going to be a problem for your soup. Let me rinse my hands really quick. And I'm going to come over. I'm going to bring you over and set you down over there and let you see as I put the last bit together here. All right, I'll be right over at the other station in just a second. Okay guys, we're back, and I'm going to give you a look-see of what this looks like. And put the rest of my stuff in because I got to get to making some cornbread. And, ooh, doesn't that look delicious? The broth, I just tasted it, tastes wonderful. So I'm putting my ham down in here right now. And I took the bay leaves out, they've been in there all day. And just so nice to come home, the house smells wonderful. Yum. And now I'm putting the fresh carrots and celery down here. You could put sweet potatoes, you could do anything you wanted. You could put another starch in here. I don't see a need, you got all that goodness from the beans. And then you're just gonna stir that in. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Oh, that's so pretty. I think that's perfect. I really do. I'm very happy with what it looks like. Might add a little bit of dehydrated parsley flakes. I've dehydrated just about a teaspoon. It's good. Add a little more color and another layer of flavor. And now, if you can't tell me that doesn't look good, go down on a big old piece of cornbread. I don't know. Looks good to me. So, I hope that this looks good, as good to you as it does to me. That looks amazing. Alright, so I'm going to let this continue to just simmer away until those vegetables get soft, and we'll be able to eat here in about an hour, hour and a half. I'm just going to keep it on low and let it simmer. So, alright, and I'll bring you back when I'm plating this up, because it smells so good. I don't want you to miss out. I need to fix you a plate, huh? You guys better get over here. You got about an hour and a half. Now we're going to get started on the cornbread, and I'm doing this Ammo Head style because he did a video for me on my 1,000 subscriber contest, and I promised that I would make this. I can't put together just yet the whole thing in one sitting, but I'm going to make the cornbread that he made on that video. I mean to tell you, my mouth started watering, And I still haven't done the tomato and macaroni, but I'm gonna do that also on, I might just do that as a little side dish with the salad, I don't know. But, or maybe with the leftover cornbread, because we're gonna have leftovers, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna make a little bit bigger batch. So because of the recipe, Amohead, don't judge me. I gotta adjust it a little bit because I don't really know how much of everything and how long you baked it, but I think I can figure it out. I'm a smart girl. So, the one thing you gotta start with is a can of cream corn. Woo! That's pretty much that's where you had me. Cream corn. And I'm trying not to change this too much. I wanna just taste what you like in the cooking. So I know if you ever come to Nevada, what I can fix you for dinner. Okay. So he had a whole can of cream corn, and then he did a cup and a half, but I'm gonna do 2 cups of cornmeal, and I use a coarse grind, so that might be a little bit different than he did. Maybe I'll use a cup and a half and a little more flour. That'll change it up a bit. You know what, it's like splitting hairs as far as cornbread or cornmeal to me. So that's how I feel about it. And let me grab some, I need some baking powder. Where is it? Okay, I thought I grabbed it, but apparently I did not. So let me grab my baking powder really quick. I just looked at it for a while. So, he's not picky about mixing dry ingredients first, which is exactly how I like to cook. I'm going to do a little bit over a teaspoon just because I like it a little lofty. And I'm going to use Himalayan pink salt because I just love this. It's got the minerals in it. And you need, you know, half a teaspoon or so. There we go. That ought to do. And then we're going to do half a teaspoon, or maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of fresh cracked black pepper. And then we're going to crack an egg after I get my flour in. I just got this egg out of the hen house. So, can't get any fresher than that. So I'm going to go ahead and add about a cup of flour. Just all-purpose flour, okay? And we're going to get that kind of in there. Get me an egg drop down in there. Let me make sure you can see how pretty this egg is. I don't know, you better come in closer. Just because, okay. Ooh, pretty. Okay, put that egg yolk or that eggshell in the oven for taking that to another level. Okay, and I might, if I have to add any liquid, I'm gonna add, he had to add some liquid. I'm gonna add buttermilk because I have it. He said you could add milk or water, so to me buttermilk is a good substitution. And I do want a little bit thinner batter than that, so I believe for cornbread. It's close though, just like that. And like Emma had said, at this point you could put in some honey or some sugar to make it a little sweeter, but I'm gonna let that sweet cream corn work on its own and yeah, become delicious. You know, actually I think that might just be what I got right there. Could be the ticket. I'm gonna add, actually, I'm gonna add another quarter of a cup of flour and a little bit of buttermilk. It looks a little heavy on the coarse cornmeal to me, which I really like, but my husband, He kind of likes it a little cakier, or I don't know. Some people like it sweeter and more cakey. I think it will be because of the cream corn. So I'm just going to add down a couple tablespoons of the buttermilk and incorporate that flour in. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing here. There you go. Get a little closer bird's eye view, and then you can see what kind of consistency I'm looking for. Really a thick pancake batter. I think I'm going to add a little bit, maybe another tablespoon of buttermilk. I love buttermilk. I grew up drinking buttermilk, and I still drink buttermilk. Okay, now we're just perfect. I hope you can see how perfect that is for cornbread. That is absolutely the best. Just like a heavy dough. Okay? Or a heavy, not a heavy dough, a heavy pancake batter. Thick. And I was going to make my cornbread dumplings, or that's what I call them. I know everybody's going to go, I never heard of that. But, and I name things different things, so that's what I call them. But I wanted to do this because Ammo had made that video for me, and so I'm going to send him this video as soon as I'm done. And I'm going to get this in my cast iron right now. I got to heat it up, and we'll get it in a pretty hot oven. I'm going to put it in a, preheat this oven to, I'm going to say 400, like on the counter oven. And I'll bring you back when I'm putting it in the cast iron. All right, guys. Okay, guys, I got to hurry and hope I don't run out of battery. So I've heated this pan, and I wanted to put bacon grease in here because I really thought that's what Ammohead would do, but I didn't. I've got some shortening down in there. And you're going to put this cornbread down in this preheated pan. Hope you can see that. And we're going to put this in the oven. Look at that. You got to love that. Who doesn't love a good pan of cornbread? Okay. Get this last little bit out. And I'm going to put it in the oven. Okay. So I'll bring you back when we're plating everything up and I can show you the end result. All right, guys. All right, you guys. I'm getting my cornbread out. It is done. Woo, it smells amazing. I was in the other room trying to get ready for a class I need to teach tomorrow, and I could smell it in the bedroom, and I thought, ooh, I better get to that cornbread. So there it is. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. That is gorgeous. I'm going to turn this oven off over here, and you know what? I'm going to pause and take a picture, and then I'm going to flip that out upside down because I want to see how brown the bottom got. It just smells amazing. And a toothpick came right out clean as a whistle, so it's done. Okay, I'm going to turn this cornbread out on that parchment paper. Most of the time we just cut it right in there, but keep it right in there. Ooh, that smells good. Okay, this is how I'm going to do this. Risk of injury is far greater than anything I care to experience. Okay, got your plate, got your pan, and just turn it on over. Flip it. Ooh, look how pretty. Oh, I'm so excited. That is gorgeous. Okay. And you know what? I'll bring you back when we're plating up dinner. All right, guys. I'll be back. Okay, the end result is here. I'm excited. So first, I think I'm going to get myself a spoon. I'm going to need a spoon. I'm going to cut into this cornbread. I don't like that knife. If anybody out there, just putting this out there, if anybody out there that watches these videos has a really good tip on hard water, I'm just struggling I need to just hand wash my dishes, and I don't have time. I work 2 pretty much full-time jobs, 6 days a week, and I don't know. I mean, I would if I was here more, and I do hand wash a lot, and I notice a huge difference. So, but if you have any tips on hard water, it would just be so appreciated. Okay, ooh, look at that cornbread. You gotta love that. Isn't that beautiful? You can see the bits of corn from the sweet. Oh gosh. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I gotta have me some butter. And I can tell you my husband's gotta have him some honey. But he'll have his first piece. Gosh. Just put that butter right on in there. I'm going to put this on the side because it's going to look pretty. And then I'm going to put, another, just a sliver. This is absolutely done to perfection. Right down in my bowl because that's how I like it. And I'm going to set that cornbread aside. I did flip that back over to the original side, if that makes sense to you guys. Okay, grab my, let me see what you can see. Boy, okay, I think you can see everything. Take that lid off and pull you a little closer. There we go. Oh, that smells amazing. Whew. That smells so good. And I have to tell you, I've had little tiny taste, you know, here and there, but really smells and tastes delicious. So I was going to pick that up, but I think I'll just get it down right over top that cornbread. Little ham and beans, some extra broth. Check that out. I don't know, but that looks like an amazing dinner. And I'm gonna zoom in, I believe, just so you can see how amazing that looks. I don't know whose legs are cattywampus or what. Sorry about that. My cameraman is on vacation. Doesn't that look good? Okay, I'm gonna back up just a little bit, and then I'm gonna take a bite for you. I can't wait. So there's kind of a plan to this one. You got to dig down deep enough in your bowl to grab some of that cornbread, and then you got to give it a good once over. Ooh, does that look good? Okay. Wow. Wow. And I want to taste this cornbread all on its own, because this is Ammohead 73's recipe. Thank you, Ammohead. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. Okay. Wow. Oh my goodness, that is so good. And I like the grainier cornmeal so much. It just adds that texture and heartiness to it. Boy, I'm gonna do a couple spins on this recipe now that I've got it in my little mouth. Well, maybe big mouth, but now that I've tasted it, I'm gonna run with this recipe, and I'm going to add a couple things that I think would just be absolutely delicious. This is wonderful, and it's so moist. And I don't think it needs any sweetness at all, but my husband has a sweet tooth. I could see him saying, ooh, give me some honey, or having some honey in there. And so I'll do some variations that will change this up a bit. But YouTube, I hope that this inspires you. I hope it helps you step outside the box and make things you haven't made before. I had never made this cornbread, this recipe, ever. And it's absolutely delicious, amazing, moist, and I can't wait to make it again. Anyways, I'm going to have a hard time staying out of it. That'll be the most difficult part of this process. But hope it inspires you to use up your Easter leftovers. Make some ham and beans. This ham and beans soup is so good, and it's so good for you. It's very hearty and warming. I don't know where you are, but we got wind and rain, and it's cold outside. So we're going to use up our leftovers and stay healthy and warm and just cozy. Good comfort food. Anyways, hope it inspires you to come back. I got tons of videos on the way, so I'm not slowing down for nothing. I hope I see you next time, and if you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you really like it, post it on your Facebook page. Alright guys, God bless. God bless you, Ammo Head. Bye.